What's up everyone? David here. Got a new video for y'all today. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So don't miss out. Now for today's video, we're gonna be talking specifically for those of you who are beginners. You just started going to the gym. And for many of you, I'm pretty sure you have a common goal of something along the lines of wanting to build muscle, build strength, lose fat. I'm pretty sure whatever it is that you're going to the gym for, it will rely in one of those three categories or a combination of all three. So just like any other beginner, you might not know what to do. You might go on YouTube, Google, read the bodybuilding magazines, ask your friends, look around other people in the gym, see what they're doing. You don't know what to do. And there's so much information out there, but at the same time, you got to think to yourself, what is good information? What is bad information? I don't want you all doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing. I want to make sure that you're doing the right things. And when it comes to a beginner, the more important it is to understand what is correct and what is that you should be doing when you go about your workouts. So for this video, we're going to be going over the 3 things that for sure every beginner should not miss out on. Number 1, we're talking about the big compound lifts. If you are a beginner, do not neglect the big lifts. And for this, I mainly see it amongst 2 types of ways. For the guys, I see you all going in, doing your curls, doing your tricep pushdowns, doing your laterals. I see a lot of isolation movements. I see a lot of just single joint movements working on the show muscles. So I see a lot of biceps, I see a lot of triceps, I see a lot of laterals, abs, but realistically, is that gonna get you as much results as you could? Probably not. For girls, it's a little different. I see a lot of glute specific exercises. You're hooking up to the cable machine, doing some glute kickbacks. You have that band that you put around your knees and you're doing your leg kickouts, fire hydrants, however you wanna call them, which is all good and well. But for anyone, if you're a beginner, you have to prioritize the big lifts. What am I talking about? I'm talking about your squatting, your pressing, your rowing, your hinging, things like that. Those are the big compound movements. That is going to be essential for you to prioritize, especially the newer you are, the more you have to emphasize it because you got to make sure you get the form down. A lot of the movements and a lot of the progress you're going to be seeing going forward, if you stay consistent with going to the gym, is going to be based reliant on how well you execute these movements. So when we're talking about our squats, it doesn't always necessarily have to be a barbell back squat. It just has to be a variation of the squat where you're going down and up as if you're sitting on a chair. So it could be barbell back squats, front squats, goblet squats, hack squats, pendulum squats, anything where you're mimicking that movement pattern. For your pressing, anything where you're pressing the weight away from you, whether it be for your chest, such as bench pressing, or for your shoulders, such as overhead pressing, barbells, dumbbells, machines, whatever it is, you just gotta practice that. Shoulders and elbows, pushing out, shoulders and elbows, pushing up, and then everything in between, like an incline. For your rowing, it's not just about pulling the weight towards you in front of you, you also gotta think about the weight that's above you and pulling it down. So when it comes to a row, I'm talking about dumbbell rows, bent over rows, single one-arm rows, cable rows, whatever. Just pull it towards you. From up above, realistically, the only way you can go about that is 2 ways. Pull-ups, but not everyone has the body weight strength to do a pull-up, especially if you're a beginner. So you're gonna have to rely on realistically the only way, which is pull-downs. Grab a cable, pull it, feel it in your back. And in your hinge, that means you're bending at the hip. So we're talking about deadlifts, RDLs, anything that falls along the lines of that. Those are what you need. Those 4 movements are gonna be the big ones. You work the most amount of muscle groups at the same time, and not just that, but think about what else these movements mimic. When we squat, does that not mimic you sitting down on a chair? Obviously. When you hinge, bend at the hip, does that not mimic you picking something off the ground? And every day, what do? We always pick things off the ground. When you're rowing, pulling something towards you, what does that mimic? Pulling a door open, pulling this object towards you. When we press away from us, we're pushing a door closed. When we're lifting our arms over us, we're putting something on top of the shelf. You see, a lot of these movements mimic ADLs, activities of daily living, and that's what we want. When we work out, yes, you're trying to build strength. Yes, you're trying to build muscle, but at the same time, we're improving the quality of life. And you improve the quality of life by using functional exercises that can then have direct carryover to those activities of daily living that you're doing. And really the best ways that you can go about that are your big compound lifts. So again, if you are a beginner, do not neglect them. Second fitness mistake that I see a lot of beginners do is they stick to what I would like to call the bro split. Now, I've seen a lot of back and forth about what is considered the bro split, but it's not just for the bros also. I see fit chicks doing a similar mistake. Let's get into it. For the bro split, it's typically they do chest day, back day, leg day, arm day. The only other variation that maybe I would see is they will throw in a shoulder day in there, and that's okay. Okay, fine, whatever. For girls, I don't necessarily see you all doing a bro split, but I do typically see a common theme when it comes to how frequently you're working out on each given day. I see there's a leg day, a glute day, quads and glute, hamstrings and glutes, and virtually no upper body. So regardless of whether you're doing the bro split or the fit chick split, however you want to call that second group, the biggest issue that we're addressing here is frequency in which you're working out each major muscle group. And for many beginners, I understand. For guys specifically following the bro split, I understand why you're doing it. Because again, we're doing what we see other people do. What these influencers on YouTube, what these bodybuilders in the magazines, what they preach. Yeah, we see a lot of bro split. We see that specific split. Chest, back, legs, arms, shoulders. Okay, we're girls, I understand. Your priority, obviously, it might be lower body. Get bigger glutes, get thicker legs, that's perfectly fine. But the thing is, you gotta understand frequency with your training. You're working every muscle group only once per week if you're following the bro split. And for girls, you're working the same muscles in your lower body multiple times per week with no days of rest in between, and you're completely neglecting the upper half from the waist up. When it comes to frequency, and if your goal is to build muscle specifically, training for looks, aesthetics, building up the muscle, getting that ideal look, that ideal physique, you want to train each individual muscle group at least twice per week. So, chest, let's train it 2 days out of the week. Back, 2 days out of the week. Each muscle in your leg, twice per week. Now, obviously, you don't want to train the same muscle group 2 days back to back, because then what's going to happen? You're not letting it rest. Whenever you train a muscle group, yeah, you could train it multiple times per week, but you got to make sure there's at least 1 day of rest in between. And for the bro split specifically, let's go about it as if we're doing chest, back, legs, shoulders, arms. Chest, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be doing a lot of bench pressing. Okay, that's fine. What other muscle gets used when you bench press? It's not just your chest. You're using a lot of tricep. All right, legs, you train legs. Back, you train back. When it comes to your shoulder day, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be doing some type of shoulder press. Yes, shoulders, but what else are you working? Triceps again. Now, when you're working your arms, there's direct tricep work. So you see how often you're training your triceps? And a lot of those could be 2 days in a row. When we work our back, okay, working our lats, but what else? Biceps. And then a couple days later, we have an arm day, again, direct bicep work. So a lot of muscle groups, yeah, they can be trained twice per week, but then we got things like the tricep that get worked 3 times per week. But then we look at the legs, each individual leg muscle only gets worked once per week. So you see, the frequency is off, and hence why the gym bros have the common physique look. Big upper body, small legs, because the frequency is not there, and not even including if you even train legs in the first place. So if you want to see the most amount of gains you can, set it up a little more accordingly to what your needs are, and also just, no, I wouldn't necessarily say science-based, but increase the frequency so that everything is being hit equally. For girls, yeah, I understand. You want to work from the waist down, bigger glutes, thicker legs, but at the same time, you can't be working glutes every single day. You got to give them some time and some rest for them to actually grow. And then with legs, you don't have to break it up, only quads and glutes this day, hamstrings and glutes this day. You could do a full leg workout on one day, rest, and then another full leg workout on another. Or if you do want to go with working individual muscle groups, okay, you can emphasize those, but you shouldn't only be working glutes and quads on these days and glutes and hamstrings on these days. You shouldn't only be doing quads on one day, only hamstrings on the other. What you can do is have a leg workout with an emphasis on quads on day 1, rest day 2, and then day 3, train legs again, but with an emphasis on hamstrings. So you're still working every individual muscle in the legs, just one is gonna take a little bit more priority than the other. It's like my workout split. I got 2 upper body days. The first upper body day emphasizes a little bit more of the torso muscles, so chest and back. The second upper body day has a little bit more emphasis on the limbs, so my shoulders and arms. Regardless, on both days, I'm still working every day. On the first day, I'm still working chest, back, shoulders, and arms. On the second day, I'm still working chest, back, shoulders, and arms. Just on one day, it's more of the limbs, the other is more of the torso. But regardless, everything still gets worked, and that's the way that you should be going about it as well. And lastly, with this point, you should also understand the concept of again, not only adjusting your workout program so you hit a good amount of frequency, but once you start staying a little more consistent with the gym, you'll start to realize that certain muscle groups you're just going to be developing more of. So you don't need to be training it as much, but you're also going to start realizing what are those muscle groups that, they're starting to fall behind a little bit more. Those are your weaker points. Adjust your workout program accordingly. Don't always stick to the same program if you see that certain muscle groups are starting to fall apart. You should always be adjusting your workout program based on your needs. So if you see that, again, with the bro split, legs aren't being trained as frequently, so they're starting to fall behind. Your upper body is becoming a little too developed, but your legs aren't. Okay, adjust your workout program so now you're doing a workout split that has training legs twice per week. Or let's just say, you lack a little bit of back. Your back is not as wide as you want. Okay, adjust the workout program so you're not just training back once per week. Or maybe if you're training it twice per week and that still doesn't seem like it's enough, okay, train it 3 times per week. So now you're doing back Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the Tuesday, Thursday, those 2 in between days, okay, one of them could be your chest and arm day, and then the other day can be your leg day or whatever. Just, you see, whatever it is that you're lacking, always adjust your program based on your needs. When it comes to workout frequency, when it comes to your workout split, your routine, it's not a one-size-fits-all method. There's a lot of sample workouts out there, like the bro split, push-pull legs, upper lower body. Those are all good templates to start, but doesn't mean that should be the only workout program that you stick to. That's just a good starting point to see where you're at. Once you start seeing a little bit of progress, then you can start adjusting it based off of your needs. And third fitness mistake that I see a lot of beginners do is they completely neglect this number one key principle when it comes to making gains. And that number one key principle is progressive overload. Pretty much what it is, it's always pushing yourself with every workout that you go into. Now, earlier I talked about how, yes, you want to adjust your workout program based off of your needs. So that means you got to constantly be updating it, obviously based on wherever it is that you're at with your training. But here's the thing. You can still do the same workouts week in and week out. Let's just say your common leg workout, barbell back squats, hack squats, leg extensions. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do for this month of January. Every Monday, I do legs. It's January. What about February? Can I still do those same 3 exercises? Yes, February, I could be doing the same 3 exercises, barbell back squats, hack squats, leg extensions, 3 sets for each one for a total of 9 good hard working sets for my quads. I can do that for the entire year. There's absolutely no problem with that. The thing is, how else am I changing? What else am I manipulating between those 3 exercises to still ensure that I'm making progress? There's 3 big things here. Load. How heavy it is that you're going. How much weight are you actually lifting? Base of support. How are you standing? What is your stance? Are you on both legs? Are you on one leg? And in tempo, what is the speed in which you're lifting the weight? You manipulate those 3 variables, you can still see results. Because let's just say right now that it's January and I decided to do my barbell back squats. And right now I'm sitting at a point where I can squat 3 plates for 6 reps. All right, if I continue to only do 6 reps with 3 plates and we're already in December, so a whole 12 months later, and I'm still at the same point, then realistically, I am making absolutely no progress. Because if I stay consistent with it for an entire year, an entire 52 weeks, there's absolutely no excuse why I shouldn't be able to do more in December. But for many of you beginners, you stick with the same weight and the same rep scheme for such a long time when you should constantly be pushing yourself each workout. You should be trying to outdo yourself and push yourself even harder every workout that you go. That is essentially the concept behind progressive overload. You got to keep in mind, the way our muscles get bigger and stronger is because we're placing an outside stimulus to it. That stimulus means, oh, what is that? Is it burning? Does it feel uncomfortable? My muscle's not used to feeling this type of pain. That is what we're looking for. But if you're not pushing yourself, your muscle won't get exposed to that stimulus. Therefore, it's not going to have a reason for it to grow and adapt because your muscle's sensing, wow, what, he's lifting that much more weight? Wait, he's getting that extra rep? Well, I better get used to this. I got to get bigger and stronger to be able to do this for the next time that he decides to work out. But many of you, you stick to the same routine, the same amount of reps, the same amount of weight, and there's no change. So yes, although you can do the same exercise every week, you got to find another way to vary it. What I could have done for 6 reps this week, next week, I'm going to try to aim for 7 reps. I did 315 this week for 6. Okay, next week I'm gonna try to do 320 for 6 reps. Just 5 more pounds, same amount of reps, but you see, there's still some measurable way of tracking my progress each week. And that's what many of you need to prioritize as well. Now, obviously weight is the easiest way for progressive overload. You can always add an extra 5 pounds or add the 2.5s on each side and boom, that's your progressive overload. Try to shoot for a little heavier. But you're gonna get to the point eventually where you can't just keep adding more and more weight, or everyone could only get so strong so fast. So sometimes you're gonna have to rely on speed. So let's just say I'm training hamstrings and I'm doing seated leg curls. Yeah, although this week I was able to do 90 pounds, so essentially 245s for a total of 12 reps. Okay, perfect. How can I push myself next week? Let's just say I can't do more than 90 pounds, but the workout program says I have to do 12 reps. Okay, what I can do is start messing with the speed. I'm gonna slow down the eccentrics. So yeah, I'm gonna bring the weight down, contract those hamstrings, but instead of just boom, letting gravity take the rest of the way up, no, I'm gonna control it as I'm letting the weight down. I'm feeling the hamstring stretch. Many people, when it comes to working out, they think that the part where you're contracting the muscle, where you're shortening it, they think that's what's gonna give them the most amount of results. And then when it comes to letting the weight down, they don't even control it. They just let gravity do all the work. No, you wanna maximize the amount of muscle growth you can see, go ahead and prioritize those eccentrics. Slow it down on the way out. Fully stretch out the muscle. That will give you even more results. So we covered the weight and we covered the speed. What was that third thing? Base of support. How are you standing? That's another good way to manipulate whatever exercise it is that you're doing. So the way you angle your feet, how wide your stance is, how spread apart your hands are, all of that can vary from workout to workout to elicit more stimulus for the muscle to grow bigger and stronger. The biggest way that I personally use it is with standing calf raises. Yes, there's only so many just calf raises I could do with a given weight, but how about we start changing it up to vary so that the calf sees a little bit of difference with working out this part versus that part. What I mean by that is when I do my standing calf raises, I actually go about it sometimes with my toes angled in different directions. So what I did during my last leg workout was I did my standing calf raises starting off with my toes pointed out. And with my toes pointed out, that's gonna emphasize a little bit more of my inner calves being worked. My entire calf is still working, but the inner is gonna take a little bit more priority. Again, we're emphasizing it. Like, remember that point I said earlier? We're not only working one part, we're just emphasizing a little more. Then I go ahead and do a couple more reps with now my toes pointed in. Now that they're pointed in, it's gonna work a little bit more of the outer calves. Again, not working only the outer calves, but a little bit more emphasis there. And then I finish it off and I just burn out those last few reps I have with my toes pointed forward. By having the toes pointed in 3 different directions, there we go. I'm just aiming for different parts of my calves to being worked at a given time. And that's what you can do for various exercises. For bench pressing, go with a wider grip, working on the chest. Go for the closer grip, working on the triceps. Do what you have to do. Just that's another great way to manipulate the exercises for you to see even more growth. There you have it, everyone. Those are just 3 of the biggest fitness beginner mistakes that I see many of you doing. Again, if you're new to the gym, just don't neglect your big lifts. You get the most bang for your buck and has a lot of carryover for things that you do outside of the gym. Once you start seeing a little bit of progress, don't stick to the same routine. Adjust it as needed. It's not always about the bro split. It's not always about working this one individual muscle group. No. As you start seeing more progress, you'll start adjusting the program based on your individual needs. Again, everyone's needs are different and not every program is meant for each individual. We got to customize that at one point or another. And then lastly, progressive overload. It's the biggest thing that you need to build muscle. You don't got progressive overload, you don't incorporate it each workout, every set, every exercise of every workout, you're not going to be seeing the results that you want. Comment down below if this video was helpful, and also comment down below any other video suggestions you'd like to see me do, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diets, workouts, programs, whatever it is. Comment down below. I'd be more than happy to help y'all out. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any new videos, because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And if you want to go ahead and support this channel, then go ahead and join the membership. I got the link down in the description with a couple more details in there, so go ahead and check it out. And then Instagram and TikTok, same thing. Be sure to follow me on both accounts. I put all my links down in the description below. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next time.